Hello and welcome to Nyam Nyam. The French know what it means to put their heart and soul into a dessert, and we're going to be showing you some of their classics. Starting with chocolate crepes. You need 2 eggs, 45 grams of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Whisk those together. Then pour in 300 milliliters of milk. Now adding in the dry ingredients, we want 70 grams of cake flour and 10 grams of cocoa powder. Whisk until it's smooth. There. Now add in 30 milliliters of melted salted butter. And it's ready. We're pouring it through a sieve to remove any lumps. Then cover with cling wrap and refrigerate for 1 hour. Then start cooking. Pour a little bit of the mixture into a pan, spreading it out evenly. Once ready, flip it onto a plate. And repeat with all of your pancake mixture. Next, add 200 milliliters of whipped cream to a mixing bowl and thicken with an electric whisk. Then pour in 100 grams of icing sugar. And 50 grams of crushed Oreo, using a spatula to fold it in. There. Place 2 chocolate crepes together and then spread on your Oreo whipped cream mixture. And start rolling. Once you're almost at the end of one piece, you can stick on another pancake, and so on and so forth. More whipped cream. And you just keep doing it till all the pancakes have been used up and you've got a nice big pancake roll. Now get a waxed sheet and place your pancake roll in the middle. Wrap it up. And refrigerate for 1 hour. When it's ready, you can remove it and add whipped cream Oreo on top. And sprinkle on some crushed Oreo cookie. Then simply slice. And serve with strawberries and a sprig of mint. There you have it. Chocolate crepe roll. Bon appetit! It's time to bite into the soft and tender cannelé. Begin by adding 500 milliliters of milk and 1 vanilla bean to a pot on the stove. Give it a mix and let it heat. Then melt in 25 grams of butter. And turn the heat off. Next, to a bowl, add 3 eggs and give them a whisk. Then pour in 250 grams of sugar. Mix until dissolved and add 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. 250 milliliters of rum goes into that, and sift in 125 grams of flour. Give it a good whisk and pour in your vanilla milk. We're adding a bit at a time. Then cover in cling wrap and refrigerate for 24 hours. Then pour the mixture through a sieve into a clean bowl, just to remove any little residue pieces, and the vanilla stick, of course. Chill that at room temperature and brush some butter into your silicone cannelé molds. This is to stop the mixture from sticking. Pour in your mixture, almost up to the top of each mold, but not quite. Bake at 220 degrees for 15 minutes, and then again at 180 degrees for 50 minutes. Once ready, place onto a rack to cool, and they're ready to serve. Melt in your mouth cannelé. Yum! There is soufflé, and there are our custard soufflé pancakes. A velvety twist to the classic French dessert. Start by adding 2 egg yolks, 30 grams of sugar and 4 teaspoons of vanilla extract to a pot. Give them a mix. Then add 12 grams of corn flour. Pour in 200 milliliters of hot milk. Then turn up the heat. Cook until thickened, mixing continuously. Turn off the heat, then remove and set aside. Next, add 4 egg yolks and 4 teaspoons of vanilla extract to a mixing bowl. Whisk them together with 40 milliliters of milk. Sift in 70 grams of cake flour. Leaving the lumps behind. And your mixture is ready. In a fresh bowl, add in the 4 egg whites and give them a good whisk. We're pouring in 90 grams of sugar, a little at a time, whisking on a high speed. We want to form stiff peaks. Now get your soufflé mixture and add in the meringue mixture. Mixing slowly this time. There. Use a spatula to mix in any pieces which aren't quite blended perfectly. Then spoon into a piping bag. Next, spray some oil onto a pan and start piping on your mixture. Two of these. Then cover and cook for 5 minutes. Remove the lid. Flip one over on top of the other. Add a little water and cover for a further 3 minutes. Carefully flipping it over and repeat. Now it's ready, pop that aside. And next add 100 grams of whipping cream to a mixing bowl and press your custard cream through a sieve. Mix those together. Then place an acetate sheet around your soufflé pancake stack and pipe on the custard. Remove the sheet and let the custard ooze down the side of the soufflé pancakes. Dust on some sugar for a finishing touch. And now for the clever part, putting a flame torch to it. We're going to caramelize it. Delicious. A sprig of rosemary on top. And voila! Amazing French custard soufflé pancakes. Enjoy! Next up, we have some mini soufflés for you, chocolate and raspberry flavour. They are moist, They're rich and they're delicious. Start with 20 milliliters of melted butter, 10 grams of flour, and give them a mix in a pot whilst heating. When it's bubbling away, add 120 milliliters of milk and mix that in. Remove from the heat and pour onto 100 grams of dark chocolate. Add a quarter of a teaspoon of vanilla extract and an eighth of a teaspoon of salt. Mix it until all the chocolate has melted. Then add in 1 egg yolk. Pop that aside and in a fresh bowl add 2 egg whites and whisk them with an electric whisk. Add in 40 grams of sugar, a little at a time. Whisk until it forms stiff peaks. Now we're going to spoon that onto the chocolate mixture. Once it's all mixed together, get a serving cup, butter the inside, pour some sugar into the bottom, tipping it around to coat all the sides. This will give it a nice crunch. Pour out the excess sugar, then spoon in your mixture. Doesn't that look delicious? Almost to the top, but not quite. Use your thumb to remove any residue from the top. Then bake for 13 minutes at 200 degrees. Watch it rise. Amazing! Serve on a plate with a sprinkle of cocoa powder. And there you have a wonderful chocolate soufflé. Look at that. It's like a mousse and a cake all in one. Let's do the second flavour. Add 200 grams of frozen raspberries to a blender. Pour the puree through a sieve into a bowl. Add the raspberry puree to a pot and heat with 40 grams of icing sugar and 3 tablespoons of milk. Remove from the heat and in a fresh bowl add 4 egg whites, whisk them with 40 grams of sugar. Keep going on a fast speed until you've got stiff peaks. Add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract to that, and then spoon in the raspberry sauce. We want to carefully fold that in, keeping all the air inside the mixture. Get your cup, butter the inside, same as before. Coat with sugar. Then spoon in the raspberry soufflé mixture. Tidying up the top. And baking at 180 degrees for 12 minutes. So quick to bake. Look at that, pretty and pink. Dust some icing sugar on top for a finishing touch. And why not pop a fresh raspberry on too? And there you have it. raspberry soufflé. Enjoy! It's time for a dessert unique in its name and making, the opera cake. Start by sifting in 20 grams of cake flour to a bowl. Next, sift in 140 grams of almond powder. We want to make this super smooth, so we don't want any lumps. Add in 1/4 teaspoon of salt and mix them together. Next, add in 5 eggs. Whisk it up. Then sift in 10 more grams of cake flour and add 30 grams of melted butter. And your cake mixture is ready. Pop that aside, and in a fresh bowl, add 5 egg whites. Blend together using an electric whisk. We want this at a high speed, and when you're about halfway through, you're going to start adding in 140 grams of sugar a little at a time. Whisk until the mixture is white and glossy and forms stiff peaks. Now spoon that into the cake batter, folding it in with a spatula. And pour into a lined cake tin. Spreading it out evenly, being sure to get in the corners. Now bake that at 200 degrees for 10 minutes. We're going to make a few of these so we can layer our cake. Once cooled, remove and place on a chopping board, slicing off the edges to make it into a perfect rectangle. Now pour 70 grams of melted chocolate into a mixing bowl. Add 100 grams of nutritious cereal and mix. This will add crunch to your cake. Take your almond cake and add the chocolate croustillant on top, spreading it out evenly to cover the entire surface. Place some baking paper on top and carefully turn your cake upside down. Next, add 45 milliliters of water and 150 grams of sugar plus 4 grams of instant coffee to a pot. Stir whilst heating. Let it bubble away and make sure all the coffee granules and the sugar is dissolved. Then remove from the heat and brush your coffee syrup on top of the cake. Next, add 160 milliliters of whipping cream to a pot. Give it a bit of a mix whilst heating. Add 160 grams of chocolate chips into that and let them melt. Add the chocolate ganache mixture on top of the cake. Spread it out to cover the entire surface. And then add a second layer of cake. Brush on some more coffee syrup. Next, add 160 milliliters of water and 100 grams of sugar to a pot on the stove. Heat it and stir until all the sugar has dissolved. Then add in 6 grams of instant coffee. Next, whisk together 5 egg yolks. Then pour in your coffee sauce, gradually adding it. Whisk on a high speed until it becomes pale. and then add 280 grams of butter, a little at a time, whisking in between each addition. So we're making a lovely coffee buttercream. Let's add it on top of our cake. Then a third layer of cake goes on top of that. More coffee syrup. More chocolate ganache. Fourth layer of cake. Coffee syrup and buttercream. Refrigerate until set. Heat some water on the stove. Once it starts to simmer away, place a Pyrex glass bowl over the top. We're going to melt 200 grams of chocolate chips. Pour in 30 milliliters of canola oil. And your chocolate glaze is ready. Let's pour it on top of our cake. Look at that. That looks amazing. Just dripping down the sides. Once it's spread evenly, refrigerate for 30 more minutes. And tidy up the edges. You can eat those pieces. Finally, slice into portions and decorate with melted chocolate. We're writing the word opera, but you can write whatever word you like. And a little gold leaf in the corner for a finishing touch. And there you have it. Opera cake, an absolute French classic. Enjoy! Next, we have the very well-known Choux pastry. Absolutely delicious, and a variety of flavours and toppings. Start with 100 milliliters of water and the same amount of whole milk. Add 80 grams of butter and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Give them a good mix, heating all the while. Then pour in 90 grams of cake flour and 30 grams of bread flour. Mix those in to form a dough. Next, we're going to add 4 eggs, one at a time, mixing in between each one. Et voila! Our Choux pastry dough is ready. We're going to pop that in a piping bag and pipe onto a lined baking tray. Dab a little water on each end and bake at 180 degrees for 30 minutes. Next, get 4 bowls of whipped cream and add strawberry jam to one, blueberry to the other, Nutella and green tea spread. We've got 4 different fillings. Grab your baked choux pastry, poke some holes in the bottom and pipe in the filling. The first we're dipping in melted white chocolate, drizzling on some melted dark chocolate, then adding some Oreo pieces and hazelnuts. That's the Nutella flavour. The next we're dipping in melted green coloured white chocolate and adding pistachio on top. Then dip in purple melted white chocolate, drizzle on some plain white chocolate and some fresh blueberries and sprinkles. Dip the next in bright pink melted white chocolate, some crunchy dried strawberry and pearl sprinkles on top with a sprig of mint. Finally, some plain whipped cream and fresh berries. Don't forget the mint. And there you have it, a beautiful array of colours and a wonderful display of flavours. Bon appetit! Well, we hope you've enjoyed our classic French dessert recipes. Join us next time for more fantastic ideas with Nyam Nyam.